Hello everyone. Today we'll be looking at ledger and trial balance. At the end of this video, you will be able to post transactions to their appropriate ledgers, balance of accounts, and prepare the trial balance. So here we are required to post the transactions to the ledger, balance the accounts, and prepare a trial balance for Sandra Brown as at the 30th of June 2019. So on June 1, Sandra started business with $10,000 in the bank. We're to identify the two items or the two accounts affected in that transaction. So for the item to be credited, we're going to put it in red, and for the one to be debited, we're going to put it in blue. So in the first transaction, capital will be credited because Sandra started business with $10,000 in the bank. So here she would have made an investment in her bank account. So capital is increasing by $10,000. So we're going to put the capital account in red. And then this amount was placed in the business bank account. Bank is an asset, and as asset increases, you are to debit. So the bank account will be placed in blue. Now we're going to reflect this transaction in the ledger accounts. So here we have the books of Sandra Brown, and this is her ledger account. Inside her ledger account, we have the bank account and many other different types of accounts. So we're going to come to the debit side of bank, and we're going to insert the date, so which is June 1. The year is already there. In the detail, we're going to have capital, since this is other item affected in the transaction. The folio section right here is referring to where these accounts can be found. So in this case, we're referring to the ledgers. So where in the ledger can we find the capital account? So can we find the capital account in the purchases ledger? Can we find it in the sales ledger, or is it found in the general ledger? So in the purchases ledger, it contains personal accounts of suppliers that the business owes for goods. In the sales ledger, it contains personal accounts of customers that owes the business for goods. And in the general ledger, it contains many different types of accounts. So here we have the capital account, we have items that creditors or debtors take other than goods. We have purchases account, we have sales accounts, and many other types of accounts. So in that case, the capital account will be found in the general ledger. So we would just insert GL in the folio section. And this is saying that the capital account can be found in the general ledger as well. And then we insert the amount of $10,000. So now we need to go down to our capital account and reflect the same entry. So here we have our capital account. It is also in the general ledger. We're to come to the credit side and make the transaction on June 1. So we insert the date, June 1, 2019. The name of the other account affected, which would be bank. So where can the bank account be found? It is also found in the general ledger. So we put GL for short. And the amount is $10,000. On June 4, bought machinery $2,500 paying by check. So the machinery account would be debited because machinery is an asset, and asset is increasing right here. And as asset increases, we are to debit. So we're going to place the machinery account in blue. And these machinery was bought using money from the bank. So money was taken from the bank in order to purchase these machineries. So the bank will be going down. Bank is an asset, and as asset decreases, you are to credit. So let's go right ahead and debit our machinery account and credit our bank account. So here we have our machinery account. Insert the date, June 4, 2019. In the detail, we would have bank. The bank account can be found in the general ledger, and the amount is $2,500. So now we need to go and record this same entry on the credit side of bank. So we come on the credit side, we insert the date, the name of the other account affected, which is machinery. Machinery account is an asset account and it can be found in the general ledger as well. And the amount is $2,500. On June 9, P. Singh lent us $6,000 cash. So right here, P. Singh is a liability to the business because the business would now owe P. Singh, seeing that P. Singh would have lent us or lent Sandra $6,000 cash. So P. Singh is a liability and Sandra's liability will be increasing. So hence P. Singh's account needs to be credited. So we're going to place P. Singh in red. And if P. Singh lent Sandra $6,000 cash, this simply means that Sandra is receiving cash. So cash is increasing in the business. Cash is an asset, and when asset increases, you are to debit. Alright, so let's make this entry in the ledger account. So on June 9, in the detail, we have P. Singh. P. Singh is a liability account and this is found in the general ledger. And the amount of $6,000. Alright, so now we need to make a credit entry in P. Singh's account. So we come on the credit side and we enter this transaction. So on June 9, 2019, in the detail we have cash. The cash account is also found in the general ledger and the amount of $6,000. On June 12, bought fixtures $3,400 on credit from Fix It Up Limited. So the two items affected right here would be fixtures and Fix It Up Limited. We bought fixtures. Fixtures is an asset. When asset increases, we have to debit. So we're going to debit our fixtures account. And if Sandra bought these fixtures on credit from Fix It Up Limited, this is simply saying that Sandra owes Fix It Up Limited. And whatever the business owes, that's a liability. So right here, Sandra's liability will be increasing. So as liability increases, we have to credit. So hence, we'll have to credit Fix It Up Limited's account. And we credit Fix It Up Limited's account. Alright, so moving on to the next transaction. So on June 18, sold machinery for $1,680, check received. So right here, machinery in the business is decreasing as a result of the fact that Sandra would have sold these machinery. So machinery is an asset, and as asset decreases, we have to credit. So we're going to have to credit our machinery account. So we put it in red. And a check received. So Sandra would have sold these machinery and she would have received checks. So you know that money is coming in the bank. Bank is an asset, and as asset increases, we have to debit. So we're going to debit the bank account. Come on the credit side of machinery and we make the same entry. On June 22, paid P-Sing $3,000 by cash. So on this day, Sandra would have paid her liability, who would be P-Sing in this case. So hence her liability would be decreasing, and as liability decreases, we have to debit. So now we're going to debit P-Sing's account. So we're gonna put P-Sing in blue, and she would have paid P-Sing $3,000 by cash. So she would have used cash to pay this liability, pay off this liability. Cash is an asset. Cash would be going down in this case, and as asset decreases, you have to credit. So we're gonna credit her cash account. So we put this in red. So we debit P-Sing and we credit her cash account. Alright, so now we're on to the final transaction. So on June 30, paid Fix It Up Limited $1,200 by check. So here again, Sandra is paying or repaying her liability, or her creditor in this case. So her liability would be going down. Once more, as liability decreases, we have to debit. So we're going to debit Fix It Up. Debit Fix It Up Limited. So we put it in blue. And she's paying this creditor using money from the bank. So the money in the bank would be going down. Bank is an asset, and as asset decreases, you have to credit. So let's debit Fix It Up Limited. And let's credit Sandra's bank account. Alright, so now we would have completed objective number 1. So we would have posted all these transactions to their appropriate ledger. And we only made use of the general ledger because no transaction would have shown wherein goods were taken from supplier on credit, and none would have shown wherein customers would have taken goods from Sandra on credit. So we did not use the purchases ledger and we did not use the sales ledger. So we only made use of the general ledger. Alright, so moving on to objective number 2, we're going to balance off these accounts. Go ahead and balance off Sandra's bank account. So here is her bank account. On the left hand side, so referring to this side, it is known as the debit side, and the right hand side, so that's this side, is referred to as the credit side. So step number 1, add up the debit side and the credit side. So go ahead and add up your capital figure of $10,000 plus your machinery figure of $1,680, and you should get $11,680 in total. So that's the total for the debit side, $11,680. So that's the total for this side. So now let's go right ahead and add up our credit side. So referring to these figures, so we added $2,500 for machinery and the $1,200 for Fix It Up Limited, and we get a total of $3,700. Step number 2 says that you're to subtract the smaller side from the larger. So the credit side is the smaller side. So we're to take that $3,700 from the $11,680. So $11,680 minus $3,700, and that gives us $7,980. So that $7,980, it is referred to as the balance. So this will be written as our balance CD and our balance BD. Step number 3 says that we're to enter this balance, so that's a $7,980, on the shorter side. So the credit side is the shorter side. So we're to record this balance on the credit side as at the last day in the month. So that would be June 30. So June 30, we're to name that balance BAL CD or balance CD. And the balance is $7,980. So the next step, we're to level up these figures. We're to level them up and then add. So we go ahead and we draw our line to show that we're adding. And if I have the line right there, I have to level it up on the other hand. So I come over to the other hand and I draw the line on the same level. So there we have it. Now we can go ahead and add. So the 10,000 plus the 1,680 gives us $11,680. And the 2,500 plus the 1,200 plus the 7,980 also gives us $11,680. So seeing that we have the same figure on the debit and the credit side, this ledger account is now balanced. So we go ahead and draw our double lines. And it doesn't end here, we have to bring down the balance. So on the line below the total, so the total we're referring to this $11,680. So on the line below it, we're supposed to insert our balance brought down. So we come in the date section, and this balance brought down, it should be dated the first day of the next month. So after June, we have the month July. So the date will reflect July 1, balance BD, and the balance BD is always the same as the balance CD. So our balance CD is right here. Let me highlight it in a different color. So the balance CD is right here, 7,980. And our balance BD should be the same as the CD. So the same $7,980. So and that's how we balance an account. Alright, so with the capital account, we only have one single entry, and that entry is on the credit side. So automatically you know that the debit side is the shorter side. So we just go ahead and insert the balance because the debit side would amount to 0. So 10,000 minus 0 would give us the same $10,000. So we just insert the balance. And we can go ahead and draw our double line right there because it contains only a single entry and they are already on the same level. So no need to bring them down and to long out the process. You just get straight into it and just draw your double line. It's already on the same level. So the only thing you need to do now is to bring down the balance as at the first day of the next month. So that's it. So now we can go ahead and balance the remaining accounts quickly. Now we would have balanced off all the accounts. So as you would have seen, or as you would have noticed, the balance CD is always on the opposite side of the balance BD. So the balance BD and CD is never found on the same side. So they are always opposite to each other. So with that said, we would have completed objective number 2. So we would have balanced off all the accounts. So the final objective, now we're going to go right ahead and prepare the trial balance. So you might be asking, what's a trial balance? So the trial balance is basically a list of all the debit and credit balances. And we're going to prepare the trial balance in order to check to see if the entries that we would have made in the ledger account, so we're checking to see if these entries are correct. So as with any other statement, you have to give it a title. So in the title, the title should answer who, when, and what. Or who, what, and when. So in this case, whose or who are we preparing it for? We're referring to Sandra Brown. What are we preparing? We're preparing a trial balance. When are we preparing it? As at the 30th of June 2019, or as at June 30, 2019. And then we have the following headings. So we have account titles, we have folio, and then debit and credit. So the account title, this is basically referring to the name of the accounts that would have been affected earlier in the transactions. So we'll find like the capital, the bank, machinery, piecing, all of those accounts will be found on the accounts title. Folio, as I said earlier, folio is referring to where these accounts can be found. So which one of the ledger can we find the capital account in? Which one of the ledger can we find the bank account in? And then the debit now, so whichever account carries a debit balance, the balance will fall into that category. Whichever account carries a credit balance, will be found in the credit column. So as you would have known, all asset account carries a debit balance. So asset account carries debit balance, expenses account carries debit balance, and then the credit balance now, the capital account and the liability account, as well as sales and revenues account, carries a credit balance. So with that said, let's go right ahead and complete our trial balance. Alright, so the first title that we're going to write is the capital. So where can the capital account be found? It can be found in the general ledger. So write GL for short in the folio section. What type of balance does the capital account carry? It carries a credit balance. Where are we going to get this balance from? So we go to the capital account, the capital ledger account, and we take up the balance BDs. So these are the balances that we'll be using to prepare our trial balance. So all the BDs for the different accounts will be taken up and inserted in the trial balance. So right here, the capital account carries a credit balance of $10,000. So we put that $10,000 under the credit side of the trial balance. Moving right along, we have bank. The bank account can be found in the general ledger as well. The bank account is an asset account, so you know that it will carry a debit balance. So we go up to our bank account, and there we have it. The balance is on the debit side, $7,980. So it's not the total of the bank account that we'll be inserting, but the balance BD. So we'll never insert the $11,680. We're inserting the $7,980. Alright, so now you get a hang of it, so we can just go ahead and fill out all the remaining account titles and their balances. So the machinery account carries a debit balance, the fixtures account carries a debit balance, and the cash account carries a debit balance. So all these are asset accounts, and asset accounts carry debit balances. And then Fix It Up Limited and PC, they carry credit balance as they are liability accounts. So now we can go ahead and add. So once our debit side equals the same as our credit side, then the trial balance is balanced. And then that would go to show that the recording or the entries that we would have made in the ledger account, it would show that they are correct. So let's go ahead and add. So under the debit side, we have $7,980 plus the $820 plus $3,400 plus $3,000, and that gives us $15,200. Let's go ahead and sum up our credit side. So we have $10,000 plus $2,200 plus $3,000, and again that gives us $15,200. So our trial balance is balanced. So we can go ahead and draw our double lines. And that's it. So if you have any question, you can feel free to leave it in the comment section. And if you haven't yet subscribed to this channel, please do so and become a part of Miss Edupreneur's Corner. Thanks for watching.